Audio's included. I mean, oh, well, there you go. Here's the start to the stream. We're one follower away from 500 to our Twitch channel.
Oh,
That's one way to start. And another way to start is, as I told you in Thursday's commentary, is to be a betting man and bet on the Tier 2 getting rain. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to round 14 of our FPRL Tier 2 Season 5 Championship. And we are here in what is usually a humid Singapore, but it looks as though the heavens have opened and we are in for a thunderstorm this evening. And hopefully, we're in for a lot of lightning quick action on track to follow. I'm Cruiser 1872, and joining me in the commentary box once again this evening is Mr. C. Davies.
yeah, hello, welcome, Cruz. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Should be a good one. Obviously, with the wet conditions at the minute, this will be very interesting. It'll test the driver's skill and ability around a very high downforce track. So, yeah, it should be a good one.
Absolutely, and with the rain as well, it's a whole different challenge for Tier 2. No other tier, at least so far, has had to witness the rain, and seen there from the Alpha Tauri of Diamond Duchy, it's wet weather tyres. Yeah, we are in for sub 2 minute lap times, I think, around this track tonight. And as well, of course, regarding Singapore, it's not the longest track in the calendar, but it definitely takes a lot out of you. If you've seen like the real racing in Formula One, oh, they got a mic crackle already. That's not ideal.
Oh. Well,
On
I will
quick
carry.
reset.
You quickly reset. That's a little bit shit. Yeah, it's not the longest one, but it's definitely one of the most technical ones on the calendar. With all the spray coming off as well, it's going to be a lot of there's a lot of traction heavy zones around this track, so it will be hard to not wheel spin the tyres with it being in lower gears. So yeah, it definitely will be a hard challenge, as it's Diamond Douchey we're on the stream with, as he's about to come up to a lap, which I think will be a 1 minute 57-ish to 2 minutes, like you say, Cruz. I don't think you is wrong with your comment. Hopefully everybody's
And
oh yeah,
there we go,
and
we're
you're back.
underway. Yeah, and hopefully the mic crackling has sorted itself out, at least for the next 15 minutes of Q1. And just following Diamond, we're seeing how treacherous this is. Absolute tiptoe conditions here for the AlphaTauri driver and everyone else to eventually get their lap on the board as well. So Diamond leading the way on track. We'll just jump on board. Just how icy, how slick the track is. You just can't get anywhere without having to almost crawl around these corners. And because it's a street circuit, near enough most of them are 90-degree like left and right handers, as he just keeps it within boundaries of turn 6. Very easy to run too wide there and invalidate, as we've seen. And so that's an Aston Martin getting very close there to the wall, quite potentially, of Shadows. And I think we're still waiting on Shadow's teammate this evening. I'm not too sure on that. Hopefully they join a bit later in the evening, as Diamond, I think really, this is more of a sighting lap for the AlphaTauri driver, as much like David Littleface, we're stuck on broadcaster cam for the run up towards the hairpin and then down the Esplanade Bridge, the second of what's meant to be 3 DRS zones this evening. But of course, with rain, it brings no DRS. But suppose one positive regarding wet weather conditions is you can just keep going around the track. You can fill your fuel tank for at least 6 or 7 laps and just do continual push laps if you have to get into a rhythm, because I'm pretty sure none of these drivers have actually had much to any practice in these sort of conditions, as we've got a McLaren up ahead. I believe that is of the General Jake the Snake. Good old Jake. And actually flying high currently in the standings as he peels into the pits, so obviously he learnt from Belgium. He's not happy with the wet weather qualifying, as Diamond around the final 2 corners. It's a 57.7 for the AlphaTauri driver, and that is I'd say that's the benchmark, but I think really we're going to see times plummet throughout the rest of the session here, Colin.
Yes, I have to agree. Obviously, the track when a lot of people are like putting laps in, it will obviously get better. But I've noticed as well that that used about half the battery for Diamond as well going around. So yeah, you maybe could do double push, but at the end of it, you might lose a bit of time with the derating of the recovery system. But yeah, it's definitely one about not. You definitely need to qualify high up tonight, especially if we don't know if tomorrow's race is going to be wet. If it is wet as well, that'll be an absolute. Well, that'll be interesting because obviously it depends how many tyres you want to use in quali, because some of them you will have to use. As Nigel Piggle sets a 1 minute 58.1, 4 tenths off, I believe, 3.5 tenths off. So yeah,
Yeah, if we want to be picky. If we want to be picky.
Oh, well, I've just found out what the issue. As Jeff Master sets a 1 minute 50. As I believe Python has just told us what the weather conditions are for the race.
I am not going to spoil them. I'm not going to look at the
Yeah,
chat.
I am not. Don't look. I've seen it, but I won't spoil it.
Nah, well, at least we know the rain is going to be here to stay for qualifying, put it that way, as Junivane are in the final 2 corners for the Red Bull, and it's a 57.8. So Junivane looking somewhat comfortable and near enough bang on 50% battery in 1 lap, so he can actually go again if he wants to. But in a 57.8, should that be enough? I'm not too sure, as Diamond going to get another lap underway, and actually a purple final sector, as Shadows has went a full second quicker than what Diamond did on their latest, or at least in their best lap. And Silverside Boy up to the line now. It's a 58.2 for the Williams driver, and to no one's surprise, they're going to go for another push lap as well. We'll just scroll through the field here. We have Tiddlewink as well. I believe he was last season's race winner. As Groundsy, what have you done? Oh dear.
I think he's okay, but he slightly tapped the wall there, lost the back end, and he had to correct it. Slammed the wall at the old Singapore Sling section. Sorry to interrupt, but I was just following on board with him.
As David redeemed the drink, and Procom's drink for later on. And you know what I've just noticed as well? You actually can tell by like the FPS almost on broadcaster cam and like onboard camera. It's Tiddlewink almost ice skating down the bridge. You know it's bad when you're looking for small details like that in the middle of a seriously contested championship. Now, I think
all I'm saying is that if you're back to back with somebody in a race with this amount of spray, it is impossible to see people. So if it doesn't rain for the race, I bet these guys will be glad.
Yeah.
It'd be a nightmare if not.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely terrible. It'll be like a procession around here because overtaking's so difficult, and even charging up the battery is going to be just as difficult as well. As we go from one Mercedes to another, Tiddlewink, that's a 159.0, and it wasn't really the strongest lap either for one of the Mercedes. As we jump now to their teammate, that's being, as we've got an Alpha Tauri off up at turn 4, and it's Drownsy again. Just saw there in the minimap, Drownsy really not liking these conditions so far. And a 58.6, he's got to get a lap together sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, we'll jump back down towards midfield maestro, one of 5 drivers yet to get a lap time in, and Python the only driver yet to actually go out on track. So I think Python leaving it a bit later than others, as I think Revengezilla is asking for an invite to the lobby. We'll get them sorted as soon as possible. Midfield maestro up on a 57.5 and puts them up to P6. Meanwhile, down again at the back of the field, Jake is on a flying lap, we'll leave them to it. Michaelo on a flying lap also, and Lexus is underway for their first lap. So everyone, at least in the drop zone so far, bar Monkey Boy Kurt, actually hasn't set a lap time yet. And I suppose I actually should tell a lie, Monkey Boy Kurt in P15. So for now they are safe, but they are living very dangerously, it must be said.
Obviously, I know a few of these guys in this tier. Hi, Jake, Kurt, and Jaff and Silverside Boy. If it is dry today, Silverside boy was struggling. So I think he was praying for a bit of rain, and obviously with him being P6 at the minute, I think you can see that as his teammate then goes to the
Ooh.
top with a 56.4. Seems to me the track's evolving a little bit, Cruiser.
That, and they're getting a little bit of practice in as well, as we see Biddle on the return up in the top 10. So not too bad there for the Alpine reserve driver, as we do a yellow flag down the Esplanade Bridge, looking like that's Silverside boy, I think, just letting everyone through on their flying lap. Fair enough to them. They're up in 6th on a 57.6, so they've improved massively. As Revengezilla has joined up, so we've got a full grid for tonight's race, but Revengezilla at a disadvantage almost compared to everyone else, as Legends tossing it down Raffles Boulevard to try and get that battery charged. Don't blame him, to be honest. Have a push lap and then get the most of the battery back for the next one. Keeping well out the way there of the Mercedes, as we'll jump back on track at least towards Diamond Duchy, the man who did get the first lap on the board and was actually fastest for a few moments, is now found himself 1.2 seconds off the pace of what the fastest time so far actually is. So, could say a bit of track evolution, and as well. Oh, Juno Vane's gone! Just going by there, eat. Oh, that's got to be wheel-spin. Stone on board there with Diamond.
Where is he?
He's just lost it up towards the Singapore sling. Seen there a
That
half
is
stone by them.
interesting to see how he's dropped it there.
That could have been aquaplaning.
Must have been out of the corner, and he must have tried to correct, and then he's bumped the wall. That's my only assumption, because it's not really a place mid corner where you'd lose it. So yeah, it's definitely wheel spin. I'd agree with you on that.
And look at Jaffmaster, recently getting that new wheel for their racing rig, up now in 3rd. And only one of 3 drivers in the 56s. So Jaffmaster looking as though they're feeling a bit comfortable in these conditions. But with Juno Vane, I would say, unfortunately dropping out of qualifying, we're going to lose at least 6 drivers in Q1. All of those in the drop zone, and Juno Vane, as you see down in P15, as there's. You can put the Benny Hill theme tune there over the Mercedes mechanics. You really could. That was like they were on 2x speed or something. It's like they hit fast forward in a television remote the way they ran out. Anyway, still looking at the drop zone. We've got Monkey Boy Kurt fully charging that battery, ready to go again. Shadows improving once again to 56.1. Michaelo down by a tenth of a second, I think, from their last lap. They are going again though. Tiddlewink still in the pits, and Jake as well, leaving the pits now. So Jake in a little bit of unfamiliar territory here, and is actually somewhat in trouble.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too comfortable coming out the pits. I don't know if he was just on board with him, but he looked like he was losing the rear end. So yeah, obviously he's not favoured in these conditions, as we've been told whenever he last... Was it Zandvoort when it was raining, I believe?
Yeah, Belgium and Zandvoort.
Belgium and Zandvoort. He didn't qualify the best, but in the race he come back, so we'll see. As Pines goes P3 with a 0.5.
Yeah,
6/10th improvement.
Still improving as everyone across the field, to be fair. As the driver that we're on board with is Legends, a man who's made a name for himself in qualifying, is up by 0.8 of a second already. So that will actually put him up into P5, and one of only 5 drivers so far to break into the 56s, and even at that we could even break into the 55s at the end of qualifying, as we got a yellow flag up at the hairpin, looking like Jake getting well out the way of those on a flying lap. 3.5 minutes left to go in Q1. It's Shadows, Snedden, Pines, Jaffmaster and Midfield Maestro in the top 5. But let's see what Legends can do, and if he can put himself in said top 5, which now Michaelo is, I think, rather forcefully pushed Midfield Maestro off, and Legends has forced him out the top 5 as well at a 56.5. And Legends making his name in qualifying once again and making his claim for Q2 very apparent indeed.
Yeah, very good lap from the Ferrari driver, Michele, as well, to put himself P6 at the minute. That's a good. I was watching the back end of the lap. He looked committed, and it looked good into it. So yeah, definitely good. I think the cut-off point will be a low 57. Whether people can do that is another question. Obviously, with the lack of practice, we assume, because I don't think people will have expected. Well, you should expect this weather around here, but yeah, I don't think many people will have practiced due to where the game cycle is of F122.
Yeah, this game can get in the bin for all we care. Oh, Lexus! He's atroplaned as well. Just out of turn 3, he's lit up the rears and he's smashed it into the wall. So that's now 2 drivers who have been chewed up and spat out from the aquaplaning of the Singapore Marina Bay Street Circuit. And that's now 7 eliminations guaranteed, and we're not even in Q2. And that's nearly an 8th. I thought Shadow retired on track there. And seems as though Jaffmaster following suit, very safe actually, up in 5th. But the guy we're following now, that being General Jake, is actually in the drop zone, albeit marginally, but he's actually down in his time. Jake could be in serious trouble here.
Oh, Kurt's up as well by a 10th and a half. While you watch Jake, I'm just watching Kurt come through.
Thankfully, they're 1 by 1 on track. His Diamond retires from the session. That looking like it's in the pit lane. I think so, but Jake clobbers the wall. I'm not saying anything on that because that's where I found my qualifying meeting end in Tier 3. Is now everyone's starting to retire from the session, all feeling safe, but Diamond on a 57.4 might be a little bit vulnerable as Jake now round the final 2 corners, and Jake, he doesn't improve. Now Jake's committed to go again. Monkey Boy Kurt improves, but only to 16th. And he's only got 10% battery as well. Monkey Boy Kurt and General Jake are in big trouble here. Tiddlewink as well. He's up by a 10th and a half. He's got to find a lot more. And now Python as well. He's going to have one chance at this, as I think Revengezilla has left it a little bit too late. He's got 30 seconds to go around the full track. So I think Revengezilla has confirmed their exit in Q1. Python, Tiddlewink, General Jake, and Monkey Boy Kurt all on a final lap dash, and Biddley as well, or Biddle, I think we'll just keep it to, as I know he's waiting for me to see medium, so there you go, you're welcome. Silverside Boy out for improvement as well, Drownsy looking for improvement too, but all these drivers are actually down on their best time. So I don't know if that's something to say whether the rain's getting more intense, or it's just no one's improving. As Tiddlewink, he's pushed himself too hard, and he's Monkey Boy Kurt's gone as well, and Jake's outbraked himself. So there goes everyone, bar Python. So Python could actually knock out Biddle as he doesn't improve in his time here.
Or would that knock out Lexus Cruz? Because Lexus is currently through at the minute, isn't he? On a 0.6.
Oh, he's through, but he's out.
57's. Yeah, he's through, but he's out.
We'll see what happens, because I think if Python goes better than the 57.4, Biddle might be in trouble. I'm not too sure though, but knowing this game, anything can happen, and anything will happen, I'm pretty sure. But now I think all eyes on the Ferrari, much like it was today actually, around Baku, in the real world of Formula 1, their Friday qualifying ahead of what I think is a very silly sprint weekend. But Charles Leclerc taking pole, Python looking to maybe try and duplicate that around Singapore this evening. He's up by 4/10 of a second, but I think this is where he's going to find the biggest gains of his time. He's got to find around 10 seconds in this final sector, as Snedden again is making his claim for pole.
Yeah, at the minute it looks like it's a shootout between 2 drivers at the minute, but obviously others have only done 1 lap, like Phenom, which it could be anybody's in the wet. I wouldn't like to put a prediction out, but yeah, as Jake's gone across the line and the tyres come off. So the McLaren boys will be...
Python, I don't think he made it. Oh, he did make it! He got 10th!
Yeah.
Even
So yeah, I think Junu Vane's got extremely lucky there.
yeah, but Juno Vane, he lost it earlier from the aquaplane, and so we have lost 6 drivers in qualifying. Biddle just making it through, albeit in 14th place. But the 6 drivers that have been eliminated: Revengezilla, Tiddlewink, Jake, probably the biggest shocker of them all, to be honest. Down in 18th, Monkey Boy Kurt in 17th, both McLarens, Lexus knocked out, and Junuvane, both Lexus and Junuvane crashing on track. And it means then for Q2, we've only got 4 eliminations to, or at least at minimum, 4 eliminations in the session.
Yeah, double McLaren exit as well in Q1.
I'm going to pay David
That'll
back with
be-
that drink. Need it.
Okay. Oh, what drink have we got? That is the question.
Good old Pepsi Max, as, yeah, the rain's not going
Ooh.
anywhere.
Full wets again.
Yeah, it's not going
Now,
anywhere.
people. Now I will have my drink, which is a bottle of water.
Haha!
Plain simple, but you can't complain.
Yeah, the generic go-to.
I wonder how many sets. Can you remember, Cruz? How many sets of wets you get? Is it 2?
Nah, I think you get. I think you get 3.
Is
Honestly,
it 3
I don't know.
inters and 2 wets?
Oh,
I think it's maybe. But yeah, that's
oh, there you go.
interesting.
Oh yeah, Shadows has confirmed it's only 2 sets, and then you get a third. Then you get an extra set
Yeah.
in Q3. Well, there we go. We were both right. Shadows saying 3 inters and 2 wets, and Nigel saying you get an extra set in Q3. So
Yeah,
there you
because
go.
I'm gonna say you'll have if people's used 2 sets of wets in Q1, you're technically on used tyres for Q2. Although it might not matter as much, it still will be a little bit of a disadvantage. As a
Yeah.
lot of people are rushing out, Cruz. Are we having a little bit of racing already?
I think everyone just wants to get practice in, as we have 4 cars separated by almost nothing going down what's meant to be the first of 3 DRS straights around here. And I think you've been due a quote from Mr. Silverside Boy.
Oh, lovely.
We did expect it, though, to be fair.
We did expect it, and the fraudulent man is gonna make me say, "Ooh, daddy." There you go.
Hey! I'm next, by the
You
way.
fraud.
I gave it 25 minutes. I gave it until the end of qualifying before someone else redeems it for me.
It's okay though, because when he's on tier 4, I'll get my revenge.
It's becoming a bit of a running joke now between us all, to be honest. And Python saying that their plan worked for qualifying. I'm not going to spoil what their plan is, but it involved a single set of tyres. So I've just sold them out. Anyway, Q2, and as well, drivers forget how long this outlap is, especially in the wet. We're nearly 3 minutes into qualifying, and still no one has actually began a flying lap. And Jake,
Well,
very
yeah,
upset.
the rumours from the McLaren camp, the driver General Jake is very upset with his lap and said the weather was a determining factor. Well, I'm afraid it sounds like it's an issue of driver not practicing for wet weather
Yeah.
and biting him.
Breaking news from the FPRL paddock. Driver General Jake has stormed out of the media pen, claiming the weather has been failing him throughout this run in Singapore. He's looking for a new challenge in Tier 1 next season.
Oh. Oh no, well, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'll be big trouble.
Well, to quote the great Jose Mourinho, and right, I can get right. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming the minute I said it, and the minute I seen him in chat. So I had a little shallow dig at Jake, and he's now rewarded me with a truth or dare, as we're just following Drownsy and Diamond. Actually, Drownsy towing their teammate along, and Jake, I answer to a truth, please. And I know you've got 20 dares lined up in a little like I know Jake has got a baseball cap with 20 pieces of paper with different multiple forfeits he's written down, torn up, folded them, and then just put them in like a little tombola in the cap, picks it out, types it out in the chat, and I know he had that at the ready there, but I'm saying a truth, so he's got to think of one off the top of his head. Anyway, lecture out the way. We're still in qualifying, and almost 5 minutes through Q2, and still no one has actually set a lap time, but Groundsy and Diamond are going to be the first two to change that as they head up towards the, I'd call this the underpass chicane or something, what would you call it? As Silverside Boy actually first on track, a 57.0. So a respectable banker lap there for the Williams man, and now it's Groundsy and then Diamond to follow, and then a whole train of cars behind them actually, as it's Groundsy first. It's 55, 56, 57.1, and Diamond on a 57.2. As midfield Maestro on a 56.8 puts now Silverside Boy third as Snedden on a 56.0. Full second quicker than their teammate.
Snedden is cooking. But,
yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, he's cooking with fire and gas. Safe to say. Cruiser, tell us something that you don't want us to know. That is general. Not. Isn't that a dare?
Yeah.
That no.
That's fraudulent. That's fraudulent
no.
from Jake. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
No, I ain't answering that, Jake. It's a truth. Well, sometimes truths can be harsh, Jake, but I prefer not to answer that question. Anyway, we're just going to fall. Actually, I've nearly clicked off Michaelo there as we go around the final corner. It's a 57.5 for Michaelo, and that puts him now in the drop zone, as behind them, Shadows has went on a 56.3. So, already from the first exchanges in Q1, Snedden, Shadows, and Nigel as well has arrived in the scene up in third.
I wonder if there's a few people on an old set of tyres here, Cruz. I wonder.
Quite possibly. They would have punished
them
in
Delta
Q1.
advantage. Yeah, with the Delta advantage. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think some of people like Jaff, for example, was a lot closer to the guys at the top, so I would assume that maybe an old set of tyres had come on from some of them.
Yeah, I think in comparison towards the Q1 time, I think Jaff Master is around 4/10 slower than they were in Q1. So there's still a chance of that, but as well, obviously, a new session, you've got to try and relearn the track as well, as it does ramp up a little bit quicker. As we're just going to follow Mr. Biddle in the Alpine around the final two corners, and careful not to go too wide, and that is a 57.2. So that, I'd say, is a respectable lap for Biddle, and puts them up in P11 for now. And, say, 3/10 behind Jaffmaster, who's currently in 7th, and 4/10 behind Phenom, who's currently P6. So Biddle can go again if he wants to recharge that battery. 7 minutes left to go, approaching the halfway point in qualifying. Shadows actually says they're on a U set of tyres with a little like fake smile at the end, so I'm assuming that they're joking.
He's driving and texting. Oh, naughty Shadows. Shouldn't be doing that. Gotta be full focus in these conditions.
This is a message from FPRL. We do not condone texting and driving at the same time. We fully implore you to have full focus on the road in front of you. This has been our safety announcement, courtesy of Mr. Cruiser. David, you answer that question for me. Cheers, mate. I'm not going to say what the question is, but the answer is that recently...
I've seen it.
Me and Mr. C. Davies have actually received promotions in the league. Of course, C. Davies actually becoming our newest Tier 4 division head, taking the reins over from myself, as I've accepted a higher position in the league. So I'm not going to mention that, but David has, I think... hit the nail on the head with the question Jake owed me from the Truth or Dare. So, I think I need a bit of a moment to actually think about that. So, we'll have a look throughout the grid, and I think Shadows is going to... Actually, Shadows is halfway round in our lap, so... Who do we actually have? It's going to go again, I think... Well, Maestro's on an outlap, just leaving. Phenom is on an improvement, and Jaffmaster is going to do again, so we'll follow Draftmaster for this lap. Just seeing how treacherous he is there on the throttle around turn 3. And I might actually need a moment to think about a proper answer to Jake's question. I don't feel like I want to scam him.
As you go for that, yeah. Obviously, I know Jeff, good friend of mine through league racing, but yeah, he's on no traction, so this will be some of the hardest conditions you probably face on no TC. I can't lie. These wet tyres. If you remember Japan last season in real life F1, when it was all complaining that the wet tyres aren't good enough, that's what they feel like on this game, from my point of view. They don't feel like they're a competitive enough tyre to drive on, which may sound mad, but yeah. As you can see, Jaff struggling a little bit before the Anderson Bridge, which I somehow spun there last night in the drive because I'm fraud. But anyway, going through the end of Sector 2 into the right-hander, where it's about 80-90 metres. He's 2 tenths up, Jaff. So he's definitely improving on his 3-lap-old wets. Coming into this tricky right-left, you've got to try and clip a little bit of curb and then a little bit, yeah. We're watching the DHL board, make sure you don't hit that. And then don't lock your fronts, because if not, you're saying hello to the barrier. Because he loses the rear end slightly, because obviously on the traction he's trying to nail us. It's very slow with him being 70 miles per hour exits. And here we go from the last corner to the line. A slight little bit of understeer, it looks. And he slightly improves to 56.888.
And ironically enough, puts him up in P8. But that fuel light's starting to flash, so might need to hurry back to the pits, because he might actually find himself in a little bit of trouble here, Draftmaster, along with Midfield Maestro. Currently 7th, but is actually up by a quarter of a second already on their lap, as everyone behind is on their outlap, apart from Pines, who we actually haven't seen yet in this qualifying session, so possibly going for a one lap dash to the end. Snedden, Legends now up in second, with Strados, Nigel and Michelo showing some pretty, I'd say, impressive pace for the Ferrari driver, up in 5th again. So Michelo, bit of an outsider, I think, for at least a good result this evening, as Michelo doesn't need to go out again. And a 56.6 is a relatively safe cut-off, and Midfield Maestro still pushing on a 56.8. He's got to try, and I'd say beat Michelo to guarantee safety, but he's got that margin in hand. He's only got to find 2 tenths flat of round.
Hines is abandoned, by the way. He's abandoned the lap.
So I think he's just to leave it to the final chance, burn out some of that fuel he's got on board for a one-lap dash, as Snedden complies, I think, to be honest, and has retired from the session in the pit lane. Now Midfield Maestro, he does beat Michelo, so that's a 56.5 for Midfield Maestro, and that could be them through to Q3.
Yeah, it's been a good drive from the Met driver. Obviously, unfortunately, his teammate to the link didn't make it through Q1, but yeah, Maestro's been pretty solid, and he's been pretty much going under the radar, I'd say. He's just been getting the lap times in when he needs to. And yeah, I'd say that's safe. As Michela's just come back out, with 1 minute 58 to go,
he's cutting this fine.
Touch and go.
It's going to be very close there for Michelo if he's going to go again. And Phenom is on an outlap, but he's just heading up to around turn 9. Actually, ironically enough, I think that he's behind Biddle on track, and Biddle has actually invalidated. Going to go for one more outlap before he begins his run, as Nigel Piddle's going to actually go for one more run as well. Try and have a go at challenging Snedden, and Shadow's now back up in second. 16 thousandths of a second covering the top two. But the driver we're following here is Diamond in the AlphaTauri. The man who did start, I'd say, relatively strongly in Q1, but is now actually in a bit of trouble in the drop zone as Draftmaster knows he can't improve again and is now retired in the pit lane. So a 56.8 is currently the cut-off time as for what these drivers are aiming for, and they have to find, at least in Diamond's case, 4/10 of a second if they want to get through to Q3. Biddle needs to find half a second. Pines is down a row again. Python behind as well has actually not set a lap yet, so this is going to be their only chance to make an impression on the leaderboard. Drownsy looking for improvement, and so is Silverside Boy. It's Diamond around the final two corners, approaching the final two corners now. Throws it in as committed as he can, and up to the line for the Alpha Tauri. It's a 56.6, and that now puts Draftmaster in 9th as Python on a 56.8 is down in 10th and at major risk of elimination.
And Silverside Box just coming through the last corner, he's up by like just under a 10th. So can he do it? He can.
Does. Woohoo! The 56.805 puts Silverside Boy in 9th and Draftmaster now down in 10th. We got Drownsy on their final run, Biddle on their final run, as Pines has knocked out Draftmaster on a 56.4. So Draftmaster is out of qualifying. Python isn't a go again, he's got a go again down in 12th. Silverside Boy has gave himself a chance, and he's actually got one more lap to go, but he has backed out of that lap. So Silverside Boy, I think he's done everything he could do, but he's now looking very anxiously behind the pack to see who can make an impression, because Python has actually matched their first sector on their best run. Drownsy up by 4/10 of a second as Python's lost it on the Esplanade and he's out. So it's now down to Drownsy and Biddle. But Biddle, I don't know if he can make it. He's been heckled there by Phenom, who's also in a flying lap, and I think they're getting held up actually by the Alpine. But we're going to focus with Drownsy now. It's between him and Silverside Boy, and if Biddle finds improvement, Phenom's in trouble as well, and quite possibly Diamond too, and Michaelo actually in a 56.612. If Drownsy can improve beyond that, Michaelo will fall down to 8th, and it's now around the final corner for Drownsy, short line, and it's a 56.6. Silverside Boy, he done all he could, but he's knocked out, and Biddle on a 56.8 doesn't make it either. So Drownsy just squeaks through with Diamond as we look at the drop zone. 4/10 of a second covering P6 down to P12, and that once again shows how close Tier 2 can be in qualifying.
Yeah, that is incredible. That is actually incredible with how bad the conditions are to be that close to each other. That just shows how good FPRL Tier 2 is and how competitive. Because some of them guys that have put a 56.8 in that are out, that ain't slow times either. They're decent times. It's just that others are just unfortunately quicker. But yeah, there's a lot of quick guys there. Midfield Maestro again, under the radar, P3 in Q2.
Yeah, brilliant lap there for Maestro, and the top 5 covered by just under 2/10 of a second. And Silverside Boy, I think we kind of know the mood in their camp, but still P11 is not. It's not a disaster, put it that way. It should have been knocked out in Q1. So that's all I'm gonna say. But P11, you're in the midfield. There's a long race ahead of you, so keep your nose clean. You can do anything in the race, and actually the full field covered by 8/10. So really a proper testament towards Tier 2 pace, which Snedden is leading the way with Shadows again in second. Midfield Maestro as well, making himself a candidate for pole possibly in third. Nigel Piddle under the radar 2 and 4th. Legends in 5th, making it through. Michaelo, an outsider possibly, but still a strong performance and a noticeable performance for the Ferrari man. Pines, then we got Phenom in the Haas, and the 2 Alpha Tauris propping up the top 10.
Yeah, for example, Pines in 7th, he did 1 lap, and to be 3/10 off. If he goes out for more laps in Q3, would you say he's up there? Yes, but
Possibly.
anybody in the top 10, this is what the wet weather is about, and this is what I like. it's a neutralizer. Usually we see, like, for example, Legends, who's fifth. He's normally like right at the top, like for Paul. He obviously still is in for Paul today, but he's not as far away as what he usually is. He's usually like a couple of attempts in the lead, isn't he? So it's a bit of a neutralizer, which I'm a fan of.
Well, still 12 minutes of Q3, and once again, more boring rain.
Speaking of Mr. Lolface, what he's put, it could be worse, could be Monkey Boy Care. I'm going to say one of David line here. Death taxes and an Alfa Romeo Q1 elimination has happened. It, that's what David usually says.
Well,
So there you go, David. You've got your Q1 Alfa Romeo elimination
well, there you go.
today.
And Jake with another truth of the dare. Let's see who this one's thrown out to. Because I've got a feeling it's indeed threw out to you, Colin. So pick your poison.
I am going to say truth, but I'm also going to say the day he says Colin correctly will be a great day. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, Nigel Pickles says you don't get a fresh set. That is interesting.
Ooh.
But yeah, truth.
Well, there you go.
Sounds it.
Do your worst, Jake.
But yeah, it's probably for the race to get a fresh wet.
Yeah, was that thunder?
Guys,
Was that? I think we actually had lightning hit the
oh, wow.
track. We are actually driving in a thunderstorm. I don't know if that was
You
just
guys
me
are...
or the lighting in the game, but I swear I saw lightning. Nigel, I think, well, he's got two words. The other, and I think it's a common phrase for an Englishman to basically say that they're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play today's countdown conundrum. Anyway, still Legends actually just leaving the pit lane there, so we got Shadows and Phenom leaving there too. Shadows and Snedden still comfortable. And Jake has said, "What's the biggest secret that Mr. C. Davies has kept from his family?" I swear this is like he's holding you at gunpoint here. What are these truths?
I know it's a bit personal, isn't it? Don't know. I don't. Oh my god, she spelt Colin right eventually.
Ha! Alright, there we go. I think that's a freebie for your question. Move on. Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, there we go. Colin Sachs. There we go, Jake. He's moved on. It was Sneed on, then Gronze, and there was another one. I don't remember. There's another one as well. Don't remember what that was. And now we had Call in, spelt C-O-L-L.
I want my points back. This is a scam. I don't.
I'm
know.
sorry.
I don't really keep.
Sorry, FPRL does
really
not offer refund exchanges.
Oh!
That's a shock.
I've just watched it with Legends.
Oh no. Williams in the mud.
Oh dear. Oh, he was up for Paul as well, in my opinion.
He had the pace.
We haven't got no Paul for Paul, but
Oh, I suppose.
Jake, if you want to I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If you want to do something that's not as private as what you've just said and have another question, I will answer it.
Yeah.
But it's a bit personal.
It is a little bit, and as well, a name I've actually not seen in Twitch chat. Hello to Razius Prime. Sorry if I've completely pronounced that name wrong, but well, welcome to FPRL. Certainly a name that I've not seen in the chat, and hopefully you enjoy tonight's Singapore Grand Prix for Tier 2 as we're following the Red Bull of IFC Pines, and I know you joined at a completely random time there, Razius. We have Channel Point Redemptions as Pines has lost their front wing heading down towards the chicanes. So that's not ideal there for the Red Bull driver, completely torn off.
I know exactly who Razius Prime is, Cruz. He does race in FPRL.
Ah, the name.
Tier
well,
1,
the clue was in their name. It is Mr. Raza Gamer. And Razius
Correct.
Prime was their old name, apparently. So, there we go.
It was Razius Prime 495.
I totally didn't read
That
that courtesy of them in the chat. Anyway, I was wondering why I didn't say like new messages. Groundsy and a 56.8. Don't know where that pace has come from there for the AlphaTauri. Midfield Maestro 57.1. Michaelo heading underneath the underpass chicane. That's not gonna catch on at all. And we actually say bye bye to that part of the track, I'm sure. And David saying
Yeah.
Raza for the win, minus the whole Man City thing. Yeah, Man City merchant. Anyway, Michaelo up to the left. Michaelo! Well,
Well, man goes from Qualiban to P1 in Q3. That is some story.
yeah, talking about on the up.
Well, Ferrari have had a good day today because in the Formula 2, Oliver Behrman, their academy driver, put it on pole. Charles Leclerc put it on pole. Are we going to see a hat trick for Ferrari with Michaelo on pole? Or Michaelo, with my apologies, however you pronounce it.
I've just said Michaelo as it is, to be honest. But don't sleep on anyone in this session. It's Phenom up to the line, and he does a 56.2 as well.
When do you text the most?
Oh,
Legends 50.
You were saying?
No, the track's evolving from my...
Yeah, so much for that Q2 debrief.
Yeah, it was all mind games.
Yeah, totally.
I just needed him to put in a time so then he can go up to tier 1 and then it gets people down to tier 2.
Yeah,
the big brain.
You know what that was like there? That's like the image or the meme with the stick man actually holding the stick, just poking, saying, "Come on, do something." That was you to Legends,
Yeah.
and you've woke him up. Put it that way. Of
Exactly.
1:55.735, and much like usual with Legends in qualifying, he said, "I welcome the chase. Bring it on." And the Dortmund, I think, instead of being thrown down, it's been rather thrown in everyone's face.
Colin, when do you text the most? He's put nice and simple. Well, if you say when, it's usually when I'm not at work because I can't use my phone at work. But yeah, so it's usually on an evening. As Monkey Boy Kurt has left the session, I will get him an invite immediately.
Meanwhile, while C. Davies does that, we're going to follow Shadows, a driver who's definitely showed a lot of qualifying pace on offer. At least in Q2, he just missed out on the top spot, and now around the final two corners, he's had a lot of pace to offer, but he's got to pull something out of the hat here, up to the line. Wow. I mean, he did. A 55.651. And I think that gauntlet that Legends has thrown down, Shadows has caught it and threw it right back at the Haas.
Yeah, he's been a changed man in recent weeks.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, tonight he's been confident through the week, to be fair. I think this seems like he's confident in dry and wet. So, yeah. Jake.
He's told you out.
Whoa, I was being nice.
Don't text and drive, Shadows. Don't text and drive.
I know. We do not condone this behaviour from this Aston Martin driver.
I've already sent out the safety tannoy. I can't do it again. You know, Nigel Piddle was actually running... I just noticed Nigel Piddle's actually got a very Brazil-esque helmet for tonight. So I'm not going to lie, actually looks quite smart.
I'm trying to get a good camera angle.
If you don't broadcast the cam, you'll see it. A little bit. Anyway, 3 minutes left to go. Not gonna lie, this session's actually completely flew by, to be honest. Despite the conditions of the track. Got, I'd say, one more lap left for everyone, to be fair. So everyone is going to be leaving the pits in just a matter of moments. Where our final 9 drivers, yes I say 9, Snedden losing it on their first outlap, and will only have the Williams team 10th and 11th for tonight's race. So not ideal for them, but we have seen what they can do in the past. Meanwhile, Nigel, we're just going to follow around for a bit of a cider lap here, with the Alpine driver has to find around 0.8 of a second to have a chance at pole, which is going to be very difficult indeed. Phenom up
Apparently
in
that's always been his
4th.
helmet, Cruz.
And what about his
He's
helmet again?
saying.
Oh, that's
Apparently, he
always
said
been.
it's always been his helmet, but there's another one that's texting and driving.
I know!
Disgrace.
Jeez. Not gonna lie, I've actually not noticed it until now, to be fair, but now I have noticed it, I quite like it. So, there you go.
Good compliment.
You did the cruiser stamp of approval. There you go. I mean, my midfield manager just starting their run now, their final run in qualifying. We'll actually pull up the telemetry for this run and just see how careful he is on the throttle. Almost, he's treating it like almost like a child. To be fair, tender love and care throughout this track. As he gets a massive snap there in turn 4, now down Raffles Boulevard, turn 5, and then turn 6, quickly followed, careful not to go too wide around the outside, but use as much of the curb as you can, and just see, almost completely drifts off there, as I've got a bit of a distraction outside. I'm not too sure if that's been picked up on the microphone, hopefully not. Now through turn 7 and turn 8, careful to avoid the inside, but at least from experience in the race, you can throw it at that corner and make up so much time. Now turn 9, how risky do you want to be? Relatively risky, dot in the curb there. Now for turn 10 and turn 11, quickly followed by 12, 13, and turn 14, harden the brakes, get as close as you can to the inside wall and hug it around the inside, use as much of the track as you can. Now down the Esplanade Bridge, down towards turn 15, and the split for midfield maestro, he's up by 4/10 of a second. He is currently flying round here, but he's got to fly a little bit faster to have a chance at pole. He's got to find another second at best in this final sector. Now down towards the first of 4 chicanes. I tell you, 3 chicanes actually around this track. In this final sector alone, for midfield maestro almost hits the tyre wall there, just keeps it under control now through the final of these chicanes. Probably the worst one of them all, to be honest. You just don't turn, use as much as you can of the runoff, and now the final 2 corners, just throw it to the left, hope it's planted, and in the final corner now, the short dash to the line, and it puts him into the 55s and puts him up in 3rd.
Just to answer David in the chat, nobody has chanced the intermediates. They're all on full wets. As Michaela's just made the line and Phenom is up by a 10.5 first sector. How much is he up by now? He's up by 2/10. So this will put him as a 56.0. As Legends has called it a day, Cruz. I don't know if you've seen that, but Shadow's the man to beat at the minute.
Absolutely, everyone's got to try and find some time here. As we've got a yellow flag, and that, I think, could be Pines. It is Pines. He's invalidated and is only going to be down in 9th. So a massive mistake and another front wing loss for the Red Bulls. Just not done well at all here in qualifying. But we'll jump back up towards Phenom around the final chicane now, and this currently can put him up in 4th. We saw Nigel Piddle going a 56.1 is around the final corner. Oh. Phenom's gone wide. It's a 55.934. It would have put him 3rd. Heartbreak for the Haas. Meanwhile, Drownsy up to the line is only 8th. So that's a surprise as well for a championship leader. We've got Diamond, Michaelo, and Shadows as well left to go. We'll actually jump up towards Shadows. He's up by 2/10 of a second already. If he finds enough time to go into the 54s, this could be game, set, and match before the race even kicks off here for the Aston Martin. And the final 2 corners now doesn't have to improve, but this is to make a statement to the grid. Take that, everyone, a 55.3. Kalo's not going to improve in their time, and Diamond's down on their time. Are they going to possibly gain a little bit? No, they don't. Diamond, only 7th. But Shadows, challenge accepted from the Haas. Aston Martin have took them up on it, and away they go.
Apparently he is a shoe Cruz. I don't know. Mic crackling issue. As
Classic.
for Groundsy, he was saying, it's gone now.
Ah, lovely. Classic Twitch.
Yeah. Groundsy, realistically, Cruz has to really be ahead of Jake and Pines which obviously in this qualifying session you would say he has achieved at the minute. So yeah, he's doing, even though he's like the championship leader in an eighth, he's still doing what he needs to do.
Absolutely.
Right.
Not quite effective, but it's still a solid job from Groundsy. It now has Diamond as well, right next to him on the grid, and that could play a major role in this race. Meanwhile, Shadows, as I've said, that is nothing short of a fantastic lap. To be fair, it really is a 55.382. So Shadows making their claim for victory, and Snedden down in 10th. What could have been for the Williams team, now down in the midfield for tonight's race. As we make our way towards. Sorry, I had to let out a little cough there. As we make our way to the pre-race lobby for tonight's Tier 2. As tonight's Tier 2 Singapore Grand Prix. I'm going to get a quick drink and I'll be back in just a few moments. Hopefully mic crackling issues are solved as we have a dry start to tonight's race. Well,
Yes, we
this is
do.
interesting.
This is interesting because what I'm glad to be fair, because what I got told was let's just say it wasn't this. So I'm happy. This will be interesting now. This is tasty, as David says. It's tasty, baby, as the bootlegger would say. Hopefully, people will get that reference from the captain. But yeah, it should be a good one. Hards and mediums selected at the moment. I can give you an inside sources just to let you all know, which is interesting because obviously the overpowered strat is hard to medium as always, but medium to hard if there's a safety car in it, game on. Wait, what kind of? Oh, you can't beat a bit of tomato ketchup, David. I that and barbecue sauce, you can't beat them. My favourite go-tos. But yeah, if you have any predictions on tonight's race of who do we think for top three, please put them in the chat. I will read some of them out, and then I will give my own prediction at the end of the just before the start of the race when Cruiser returns.
Ah, good timing.
I agree with the Domino's garlic and herb. By the way, I predict a riot up in here. But yeah, as we're about to get going, I'm gonna go for a Shadows win. And
Wow.
I'm going to go for, you know what? I think midfield Maestro second. And I'm going to go Silverside Boy makes his way to P3.
There you go, bold
There's,
prediction there.
yeah, it's bold, but safety car by lap 5, Fish Stick says. Good evening, Fish Sticks. Hope you're good.
I'll pass that as well. I'll echo calling to yourself, Fish Sticks. Welcome to the stream. And I think if I'm going to make my claim for the podium, I'm going to go Legends to take P... You know what? Yeah, Legends to finish in P3. Nigel to get second. And Pines to win. Oh, Monkey Boy. No.
Cold tyres. Silver Bin Boy, lap 25. Oh dear.
Wow.
Zilla Biddly Douche. David.
That would be an interesting podium.
If your Silla wins from the back of the grid, that will be incredible.
Oh, it's possible. It can happen. As
Oh yeah,
actually,
I'm not saying it isn't, but yeah.
have a look at the tire situation while we are at it, and there's quite the split actually in the field. That I'm surprised with. I think it's worth actually doing a little bit of a grid rundown. So if you want, I'll David saying we'll call off the interviews if that
Yeah.
happens. Honestly, I would have just ended the stream after that race. To be fair, if it does happen, doubt it will, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think we'll run through the grid as we're approaching the halfway point on our formation laps. So I'll take the bottom half of the field, and Colin, I think we'll run through the top 10, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
There we go. So starting at the back is Revengezilla. Didn't get a lap time on the board in qualifying. P19 is Tiddlewink, but see what they can do from there, starting from the hards. General Jake and P18 very much out of position, also on the hards for the McLaren team. P17 in a McLaren sandwich is Monkey Boy Kurt, also starting on a set of hards. P16 is the McLaren of Lexus on a set of medium tyres, going opposite to their teammate. P15, and again out of position, is Genu Vane after that earlier mistake in qualifying. P14 was Python, and apparently came together with Genu Vane. P13 on the hards is Jaff Master, I know you're cheering him on, Colin. P12 is Mr. Biddle, and P11, and the first of the Williams duo, is Silverside Boy.
As in P10, unfortunately, after his crash in Q3, he's Sneddon on the mediums, with also Pines that I would class as out of position. In P9, with Groundsy, the championship leader, behind his fellow teammate Diamond Douchey. Also on the mediums with Phenom in P6. On the mediums with Michaela, who's DSQ'd on the hards. That'll be because he didn't do his grid box correctly. With Nigel Piggle on the hards, and then Phil Maestro, Legends and Shadows is your top three, all on medium tyres.
Thank you, Colin. As Sneddons has been disqualified as well, and now we wait 31 laps of a grueling racetrack as the field will eventually get themselves ready, set and sorted, hopefully that is now, and as the lights begin to light up the sky in the twilight of Singapore, the lights go out and the race is on in Marina Bay. Shadows and Legends even off the start, but Legends challenging in towards turn 1, backs out of it though, as that's an early collision. Genu Vane and Legends is out along with Monkey Boy Kurt. And that is a virtual safety car within 10 seconds of the race beginning. Everyone's got to sort themselves out, as Jake had another incident as well, getting bogged down around turn 3.
And I believe the safety car
Yep,
is out.
safety car is out. That's surely the fastest safety car in FPRL history.
That gives me, if you remember from Singapore, funny enough, but it was raining, Verstappen, Raikkonen and Vettel?
Yeah.
Was it? When they all
It
crashed?
was. They just almost like magnetised to each other.
Yeah, that gives me that vibe then, of immediately off the line. But yeah, I'm sure the stewards will be having a look, because unfortunately for Genu Vane, that's what happens if you don't nail your quali sometimes.
TS9 saying it was a Ferrari sandwich.
Yeah, it'll have been a Ferrari sandwich for Raikkonen and Vettel, yeah. As TS9 also did say, as we're in the safety car, he said both bulls 1-2, and then he said Sneddon P3. Well, unfortunately, TS9, your prediction's gone after 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's a stunt that I would have pulled out, to be fair. And, yep, there we go. David, I was just about to say, we do have safety car questions for times like this, and David has got himself in on the act. I've got a feeling... TS9 calling for a restart. I don't think that's going to happen yet. Anyway, I wonder, is anyone actually going to pit? I highly doubt it, to be fair. We've literally done the first lap. Unless it's for wing damage, I don't suspect anyone's actually going to be boxing. Sneddon's in the pits. That's...
And Pines.
Yeah, that's got to be wing damage for the pair of them there, surely. As I'm seeing, the Red Bull team do have a front wing prepared for Pines, and it's a front wing change for Sneddon. Yep. They're putting a front wing over a front wing. Oh my god, Codemasters didn't even get basic animation correct.
Oh, I know what Jake's doing. You see the soft compounds on?
Yeah, him and Monkey Boy Chart. So they're going to run the soft and try and push the hards to the end.
Yes. They're going to box next lap. Question for you both. Oh, I like this question.
There we go.
Question for you both. If you could yeet any track off the calendar and replace it with any historic track, what would you choose?
That's
I'll let
actually one of
you
the
answer
better
first.
questions. I appreciate that.
I'll let you answer.
Real to think about this one. If I'm to get rid of any track on the calendar, I would get rid of Abu Dhabi, and I would. And I know I'm saying this, my ages have come out here, but I would on. Oh, Nigel's gone. Just noticed that in the background. Nigel Piddle spinning it out of the hairpin has now dropped down to 9th. Actually, funnily enough, ahead of his teammate. So not ideal there for Nigel Piddle, but I think I was saying, I would replace Abu Dhabi and I would bring in Indianapolis for a bit of a shake-up because one of the at this point every race will be in North America because of Liberty Media, so
Oh,
might as well. You might
I think that's a very good choice.
you might as well throw in a respectable track,
Now, what would I get? I would get rid of Miami.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that.
I am not a fan of that track, and I would either put one of these two, but I would bring back the German Grand Prix. I would either bring back Hockenheim, which personally I liked, or you could use the Nürburgring that you used when it was COVID. That's one of the tracks I would bring back.
Yorkie's saying they bring in the Laguna Seca.
Oh,
that would be an interesting one, to be fair.
The corkscrew in an F1 car would be very interesting.
Yeah, that ain't happening. You get front wind damage every time you go around the bloody corner. Also, my age, maximum ride height. Nah, Yorkie, you'd be riding your car in stilts to get down that part. Put it that way. It'd be like something with Mario Kart.
Yeah, I've done it on a Assetto Corsa because it's on a Assetto Corsa, and that's in like a GT3 car. That's just unreal. Never mind in an F1 car, you fall back if you're using it.
it's like you just drove off a cliff going down that corner. You just drop. But also, a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think a little bit of my age coming out as well here is that I only know Laguna Seca from Top Gear when Jeremy Clarkson drove around there in I think it was Gran Turismo or something. That's the only reason I've actually heard of Laguna Seca.
I do like some of the Indy tracks. I can't lie. Some of the IndyCar tracks are very, very good. Some of the American ones.
Yeah, I need to get into
So
it.
hopefully when that game comes out, if it does, because there's meant to be an IndyCar game coming to Xbox from motorsport games, but we're not sure. Apparently, they're not sure if it'll finish because they're in a bit of financial trouble by the sounds of it. But it's due to come. So if it does come, I will definitely be buying it and I will be definitely going on it because I don't mind IndyCar. I like the 500 for definite, but that's a different category of motor racing. As I was going to speak about Jake and Kerr going on to these hards again. It's going to be very, very tough to run it for a full race. I rate the gamble from these lads.
Oh, that's a late goal.
Yeah, Kerr will get to the back. And he will have warm tyres, I believe, as I'll let you call a restart.
Thank you for that, and you're welcome, David. David actually saying that he would replace Monaco and go back to Istanbul.
That's not a bad shout.
Monaco has to stay though. As bad as it is, it's part of the Grand Slam. To be honest, you've got to keep it.
Oh, Jake's spun.
Jake is in the mud. As Shadows gets his underway, and Michaelo getting the launch against Phenom. And now it's Diamond looking in towards turn one, getting wheel to wheel with the Haas. Michaelo's got by, now Diamond wants to follow suit. Not quite there, as from one Ferrari to another, Tiddlewint getting overtook. Well, actually getting the overtook done on Python, that's for 13th place. And Pine's getting by Snedden on those fresher medium tyres, but they two actually still going wheel to wheel here. It's Python battling away with Pines, and Python comes out on top there, and now it's Snedden around the outside looking down towards Raffles Boulevard as Revenzilla further and forward, getting a move on against Draftmaster. All this action in the midfield here, it's hard to keep up. Revenzilla down the inside of the Alfa Romeo, gets it done, and is up now into 11th place. Pines now up into 14th. He holds it just about Python and try to send it back up the inside, but Pines gets the move done and committed, now up into 14th. Donkey Boy Kurt now thinking about it, and towards turn 9, very, very dangerous place to get by there. And he thought better of it on that occasion. But Shadows and Legends getting what they have to do. As Michaelo's gone round, he's dropped it into the wall.
And that is why we have ghosting on for street tracks.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Groundsy's battling. Piggle, he's gone round the outside. Oh, what a move.
and he's going to send it back, is Nigel, and does he get it stopped? No, broadcaster Cam. He doesn't. Drownsy holds strong and is up now into 6th.
Groundsy had to have a slight correction of the steering wheel to avoid him there, but that's why he's near the top of the championship, if I'm being brutally honest. The racecraft was shown there, definitely, to avoid that. Could have easily hit him. As we have Phenom in the pit, so he must have hit Michelo.
Oh dear.
Yes.
As now Silverside Boy looking for the move here on Nigel Piddle in towards turn 1. Nigel holds it around the outside against the Williams, gets it committed, and now Biddle's right behind Silverside Boy too. Will jump on board with the Williams driver, currently up in 7th place, and Nigel Piddle, the furthest advanced driver on the hard compound tyres, that currently in 6th. Silverside Boy draining that battery to try and make a move here, thinking about a move in towards turn 6. He's going to brake a little bit later, but Nigel brakes that a little bit later as well. Just keeps it within boundaries of the track there, I think. But Silverside Boy, he's got to watch his battery here, because recharge is almost impossible around here.
Yeah, I think you even lose on a lap, if you don't use it. So without even pressing the button. So yeah, Revengezilla up to 9th. What a start for the Aston Martin driver from the back of the grid to P9 already. That's a fantastic drive up to now.
Absolutely, in 5 laps, up 11 places is Revengezilla, making a bit of a habit of these recovery drives as the Aston Martin driver, and seems to be adding another one to the collection today. Satchley right behind, a good friend of his, that being Biddle, and now Pines starting to get involved in this fight as well. We've got a really, really long train of cars here, from Nigel down towards Draftmaster to the wing, getting a little bit detached, so you can actually see him in the background there. I think a testament to how close these cars actually are on track. Meanwhile, the gap between Shadows and Legends is 9/10 of a second, as DRS will be activated on lap 6, always 2 laps after a safety car restart, and that surely is going to help a few of these drivers at least keep up or think about an overtake in towards some of these corners, which I know Silverside Boy will be hoping is the case. Nigel getting a bit detached now from Drownsy, who's getting a little bit of a race of his own so far. 1.6 seconds behind Diamond, who's now 2.5 seconds behind Midfield Maestro. The top 2 pulling away from everyone, and those behind struggling to keep up, it seems.
Yeah, it's not bad from Nigel though on the hards. If he can keep this and maintain this gap to the guys in front, I'd argue that he has a good start, as I think we saw Python just overtake Tiddlewink. And then something else which I missed in them. I don't know if Jake just got past Kurt. But yeah, going back to Nigel, yeah, if he can get him the DRS, that'll be fantastic for his race.
Oh,
but
Pines!
If he can't.
Pines and Zilla wheel to wheel in towards turn 12. And that, great respect from Revengezilla to give him just enough space, but Pines gets a snap and cuts in front of Sten and shuts the door on him in towards the chicane, actually ghosting now. Is Pines, and Sten taking that to full advantage, now found himself up in the top 10, but Pines did try and fight back in towards turn 15. Not going to happen, and Pines, actually, he has front wing damage on his front right. That's the 3rd time Pines has lost his front wing in a matter of 8 laps here.
Yeah, it's not going well for the Red Bull driver.
Oh, it's completely gone. Completely gone.
Hopefully he can get out the way.
Thankfully, it's not too far from
as
the
he
pit
does.
lane.
Massive respect to Pines there.
Yeah, fair. Very, very fair.
Yeah, he got out of the way as soon as possible. He's listening to the instructions from the head steward, CJM. He won't be in the chat hunting him down.
Thinking as well here, actually, this whole field getting detached, actually, as Pines has called it a day. They have retired from the race. On lap 7, both Red Bulls are out of the Singapore Grand Prix.
Note to self, I hope TS9 never calls a 1-2 again.
yeah, that's definitely, you don't want to listen to him for bookies odds, put it that way. As Biddle in the middle of this train actually. No, no, there we go. We love a bit of rhyming. But Nigel as well, his battery's actually starting to go a bit haywire. He's draining everything to keep ahead of Silverside Boy because the tyre advantage as well. Not sure if this was too evident in last night's Tier 1 race here, Colin, but the medium tyres seemed to last a bit longer than what at least I was expecting, and they made it some 20 laps towards the end. As Biddle, oh! That was a bit cheeky.
Well, I can tell you, because I started on mediums, that I pitted after lap 11 because I think there was a safety car. I was on something like 30%. So, yeah, they definitely can do 14, 15 laps. No issues, in my opinion. Yeah, see, Gary getting the fish train flashback. And TS9 said, well, then you something, which I won't repeat on stream. That is karma for saying that I got lapped at Zandvoort nearly in the Tier 4 chat.
Yeah, TS9 playing a little bit of catchphrase in the chat. And if you get the Cyanogram watching the stream, well done, you will win a virtual cookie. As Monkey Boy Kurt gets a 3-second time penalty down in 16th place, and Python quickly follows suit. And I know that we're showing a lot of midfield action so far, but the gap around the top 6 is really starting to space itself out here. Shadows 2 seconds lead of Legends, and Legends 5 seconds almost ahead of midfield Maestro. Both of the Alpha Tauris running a solid race, 4th and 5th as Silverside Boy, he's thought about it, and Nigel finally gets a warning, but it's always been turn 6, he breaks a little bit too deep into that corner, and now he's got a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, the problem with Nigel is he's trying desperately to stay in front. He's probably just pushed the boundaries a little bit too much on the track limits, and it's biting him as he goes over the curb, which you do not want to do underneath the bridge because that will spit you out.
Oh my god.
So, luckily it didn't. But yeah, that is one you definitely avoid.
David said they want
a
cookie. Well, guess the anagram for what TS9 told C. Davies. Then we'll see if we can get one to you. But by the way, though, Michelo, we got that on stream. That was a beautiful overtake on Tiddlewink in towards turn 9 around the outside of the Mercedes driver, and Michelo finally gets by the Mercedes and up now in towards 13th place. And this little daddle of cars too put on a good race as well. Python up behind Draftmaster, 2 seconds behind what is quickly becoming the Nigel Express, as I think we'll call it for tonight, is still Silverside Boy. He's getting closer, just not close enough, and he knows that battery for Nigel is going to be almost going to be helping him, but it's also going to be ruining him, to be honest. He's got no battery himself, but Biddle, he's got more battery than the two in front of him combined. This could be his chance to get a move on down Raffles Boulevard, and Revengezilla, we're going to follow on board with him to see if Biddle thinks about this move. He's going to drain that battery, gaining on Silverside Boy, to the left of Silverside Boy, to the inside of Silverside Boy. He just holds it though, Silverside Boy, around the outside, and has the inside line towards turn 7. Biddle looking for a switchback, but he's just not close enough on the exit to make it work fully, and Revengezilla now right behind him. And these four now, with all this fighting, has lost out a second to Nigel Biddle. Biddle, sorry about that. Too many double letters in people's names. But all this fighting, Silverside Boy has lost out a second towards Nigel, and this is now really helping the Alpine in front as his teammate is heckling Matt Williams now.
Yeah, Biddley's definitely looking to try and pass, but obviously he's used all his thing. But Revengezilla, may I add, has got a lot of battery to use. So he could maybe pass these two if he uses it wisely. But I'm just going to focus on Shadows at the minute, because obviously he's not had much at the minute. He's 2.6 ahead, but the problem he'll have soon, Cruiser, is that where's he going to pit into? Because at the minute he's going to pit into that train. And I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be hard. He needs to find a gap, or he needs to push a little bit more, maybe to create a gap for himself. As I know, going back to also the midfield where Snedden is and that, Draftmaster has caught 6 attempts on these guys. So that just shows how crazy it is.
Yeah, just how
We've
much.
seen on setting another fastest lap.
yeah, just how much fighting it's actually almost costing these guys, let alone helping them. As Biddle,
Oh.
I know what you're chuckling at. It's regarding this man, courtesy of Dave. Oh, Biddle sent it.
Oh.
Gets another tap there on Silverside Boy, and David, you know what you done. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, Snedden thinking about a move here on Revengezilla, and Biddle might actually have front wind damage. He's dropped a little bit further back, got on the curb, almost in the wall there is the Alpine, and that's now Dave Snedden a chance, but he's not better of it. He's not going to make the lunge in towards the hairpin, but Revengezilla now looming large behind a good friend of his, and those side view mirrors for Biddle's going to have to be put to good use here, as Revengezilla is not
wing
went
damage.
for it. And Biddle does
Left
have
front
wing.
end plate.
He does have wing damage there from that contact with the wall. Biddle's race has hit a, would say, it's actually hit a bit of a brick wall, to be fair, not to use that terminology again, but he's going to have to pit this lap, get that changed, and that's going to drop him right back, as he's almost holding up Draftmaster there, just from how little grip he has around here. But Biddle's going to peel into the pits, actually. No, he's going to weather it out. He's approaching his pit stop
Just
window.
got him. Yeah. Oh, I thought he would have had him then, but no. Yeah, I'm a bit shocked. He's not got.
Oh, Python's hit him!
Oh, just look, he's horrendous. Actually, he is.
Yeah, it really is. And now he's right alongside his teammate. That's not ideal. As Tiddle went storm for a spin as well, and that's I think that'd put the mood set on the Williams team. As back to this midfield battle, we're just going to follow with Shadows there for a minute. He's had nothing to do all race, but Snedden is on a charge here, getting by Revengezilla, and is up now into 8th place. Silverside Boy now in a lonely P7. Nigel still up in 6th, but as well, just everyone up the top half of the field actually been relatively tame, to be fair. Shadows, Legends, Midfield Maestro, that's been your top 3 really, I think, since the opening corner.
Cruiser, can you do me a favour? Can you go on with the Ferrari man of Python and tell me if it looks like he's left?
Python did leave, I saw it at the bottom, yeah.
Okay, I'll send him an invite back. I hope he hasn't just left because of that incident. It happens.
Yeah, just completely missed his breaking point there. I don't think much could have been done. But Shadows, we'll follow him for a little bit on broadcast. Lap 12 here in Singapore of 31. 3.7 seconds clear, 3.8 seconds ahead of Legends. Midfield Maestro, a very lonely third, some 11 seconds behind Shadows. And now, as you mentioned a few laps ago here, Colin, what and when is Shadows going to emerge into? Because he's got that pit stop to go onto a set of hard compound tyres, as Silverside Boy has let his teammate through. So the team game's been showed there at Williams. I'm just wondering here, Silverside Boy, is he struggling on those tyres, or I don't know, but he's lost a second to his teammate.
I think the hards up. I know that from speaking to Silverside Boy, he struggles in the dry around here. So for him to be in the points, I think he's be happy with it at the minute. And yeah, I think he thinks Snedden will be quicker, but that would be correct off seeing what we're seeing at the minute, because he's already broke DRS.
Fair play. Fair play to him. He's playing the team games at least. And Fishstick's confirming that the medium compound tyre pit stops are inbound. And I think Biddle's actually made their pit stop as well, now down in 16th. So Biddle on for a good haul of points. That slight contact on the wall has put pay to that. Meanwhile, Nigel is actually starting to catch up now towards Drownsy, but that's 1.6 seconds between himself and the first of the Alpha Tauris, but will jump up towards the front. Shadows goes on for another lap, and so does Legends, so they will carry on. If I were Midfield Maestro here, I'd shake things up. Potentially think about covering off Diamond, who's so far going to be a main threat in this race. Drownsy still goes on, Nigel obviously will go on too, and Snedden is now 2 seconds behind Nigel Piddle. Silverside Boy 2 seconds back from his teammate after letting him through, and I think Snedden, rather than being unleashed, he's been slingshotted almost by his teammate.
Yes, I'd agree. Snedden is flying at the minute, but I'm just having a look through the grid. Diamond Douchey seems to be slash Legends has done very well on the ERS management. Same as Shadows. They're doing very well. A lot of people have burnt most of the battery, like Nigel, for example, has. And so has Silverside Boy. But yeah, very good management, even from Jake. Jake's got good ERS management. It's just, yeah, it's just a shame for, obviously, the spin. A shame for the Ferrari to hit Jaff. But he has lost time, but he hasn't lost... I know it sounds daft, but around Singapore, you can easily make that back.
And I'd argue
He's just got to hopefully get a safety car.
I'd argue he's actually not
Also,
lost too much time at all. Despite that spin and potential damage to his diffuser, he's still
yeah,
up in 12th.
and ahead of his teammate, Kurt.
Yeah, both of them get told on quite nicely here, but Monkey Boy Kurt and Jake are both committed to go to the end of this race, so I think that rather shows how much they've actually caught up to the field and how much they've actually stuck with the field as well. So they could be a factor in this race to follow as well. Meanwhile, still, Shadows does go on for another lap, lap 14 in Singapore. Legends will continue to go on as well. Midfield Maestro still up in third, but Diamond is starting to catch up a little bit to that Mercedes. It's now borderline 1 second, as that's no, it's not. It's Groundsy, who's the first of the top 5 to peel into the pits.
My game froze and kicked me out. My pace is actually alright. Python, if you can get back in, I'll send you an invite.
I think Python's joined.
Is he?
Yeah, I think
okay.
he joined back. So we'll see where Drownsy
He's
emerges.
still ghosted.
And Drownsy is going to emerge behind Tiddlewink, but he should be comfortably ahead of Biddle. And indeed he is going to, but what's the gap between himself and Tiddlewink? It's 3 seconds, but with the tyre warm-up, you'll be looking at around 3.5 to 4 seconds after he does have those tyres heated up and working. So this now, I think, is going to set off a chain reaction as Diamond, now 0.6 of a second behind himself, between himself and midfield Maestro, and all reliable, Nigel and Snedden. Good old fashioned racing. You know what?
Juno Vane in the chat, obviously after his unfortunate thing, says I should say something, but I don't. And there's a Maestro fan club coming along with a one-man band of trusted, say Maestro is the goat, and he's put come on Maestro. With Jake having there's a little General Jake fan club from Unicorn saying come on General Jake.
We all love the fan bases in FPRL. It shows how far we've come, to be honest, it really has. But still, I'm just going to look at this fight here between Revengezilla and Silverside Boy. Silverside Boy now 5 seconds down as Nigel has went in the pits. That's a very early call for hards.
To mediums, yeah, that is very early. He's going for an undercut then.
Go for it. Silverside Boy in the pits as well, so we're going to follow Drownsy. This could be what Nigel was actually doing, to get out the pits as quick as he can, and then just try and pull away from the AlphaTauri driver, as Revengezilla's in the pits too, following Silverside Boy. Drownsy's got by the pair of them. Where is Nigel? There is Nigel. He's exiting the pit lane now, and with the tyre warm-up, this could be a bit closer than what Nigel would want here, but he's got ahead of Drownsy, who's completely drained his battery to get by Nigel. And now, the Alpine in front of the AlphaTauri, but now down Raffles Boulevard. Drownsy giving it everything he's got, and Nigel giving it everything he's got to defend against the AlphaTauri. Going to defend to the inside is Nigel. Pedal forces Drownsy to the outside. Nigel braking a little bit later, and that lap later for the Alpine has worked, and now we can heat up those tyres and really put the pedal to the metal. And surely as well, if you're a midfield Maestro and Diamond,
Shadows in.
Yeah, I think really no one's surprised here. If you're Legends, he's going to go again. He's going to gamble, I think, on that safety car. But if you're Maestro and Diamond, this has to be your pit stop lap. Now that Nigel's in, and he's been unleashed by his teammate, as Python has gone on at turn 4, as Diamond has actually heard the call from his team. He's now in the pits now. Maestro will go on as Python's been disqualified for reversing out of a barrier. That's trust Codemasters.
I hope he goes.
He should do. At least he's actually will follow Legends a little. Actually, no.
Oh.
Oh no, he's not. He's completely boxed him.
Now
There we
he's
go.
ghosted.
I think that's fair. Anyway, Michaelo actually up in 5th. He's still yet to make his pit stop actually, and Shadows has emerged just ahead of the Ferrari driver. So kind of just shows as well how quick Shadows has been this evening. He's out in 4th after this pit stop. But as well, Jake on 14 lap old hards has found himself up in 6th. Don't know how he does it, Jake, but he always finds a way.
Yeah, he does indeed, doesn't he? Good consistency and good battery management. As yeah, we have a Jaff. I know who this is. It's Josh. Jaff de Goat. Good mate of Jaff, that is. So yeah, we have a few, and then Fish Sticks is saying 16 laps on Mead. Yeah, I think that'll be a struggle, but I think it's doable. But it'll be just as the fuel comes down, as Python says his game is first. Unfortunately, you've been DSQ'd now, so you are out of the race, unfortunately. But head up on to the next one, which will be Japan.
Absolutely, that's all you can do in this league. Just take the blows and take the victories as they arrive. And even at that, just take the points as they arrive as well. As Legends is now in the pits. And as well, going back to this fight here, as Michaelo's out! He's retired at the underpass, and that's the safety car. Legends could have actually just stolen the lead here, or gave himself a really good shot at it, as now Shadows down the main straight. Is Legends going to leave the pits? He's going to emerge in 3rd, as Snedden actually goes on by the safety car.
So that would mean they'll all be passing the safety car then.
Yeah. Oh, and Jake had a front wing change. Must have put him right down the back of the field, and Jaff Masters going to come into play as well, but Monkey Boy Kurt's going to be held by his teammate. Priority there at Alfa Romeo, but Jaff Masters back in his race.
I think they needed to do that though. But I don't think that's a bad idea for them to. Both as Bidley picks up a 3 seconds, unfortunately. But yeah, coming back out, Jaff and Kurt, both P9 and P12, especially after Jaff's spin, I think decent points are on. Because these hards are hard. Pardon the pun. But yeah, they're hard to get warmed up, and the mediums are rather quick, as I found out last night when I was the only one on hards.
No, I think Fino might be in your position here. But still, this safety car is going to completely negate all of Shadow's hard work. And it's going to bring everyone a lot closer. As Snedden going to have another formation lap, I think, behind the safety car. He should be able to catch up. And I'm actually going to look at the leader.
He might come out behind Maestro.
He's got 30 seconds to Drownsy. 31 seconds actually. Yeah, he's going for it on his entry to the pits. So we'll see where Snedden ends up. As he timed it wrong. He's got a slam in the brakes again to avoid that limiter.
Under Delta, they'll be under Delta, aren't they?
Yeah. Now,
nobody's joined the safety car yet. They're all under VSC. Yeah.
Yes, they're all under Delta. So Shadows will go on and retake the lead of this race. Legends will go through and take 2nd. But where will midfield Maestro end up? Because I think Snedden is going to find himself up in the podium places. It's going to be very close though. Just leaving the pit lane there. Maestro flooring it around turn 1. And he's just got out ahead of Snedden, who's now up in 4th.
That's still an incredible stint. Considering he got wing damage as well, that 1 or 2, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he pitted on lap 1. That's exactly what Snedden needed in this race.
Yeah, he's brought himself right back into this race now. I'd argue that the front 2 guys and Maestro have got a bit of an issue on their hands now. Yeah,
they've really got to watch their back. Snedden is going to be absolutely rapid at this restart. And as well, looking towards this midfield here, Silverside Boy and Revengezilla boxing in the same lap. Brownsy on 4 lap old hards. It'll be 6 laps after the safety car. Jaftmaster, Jake, Monkey Boy Kurt, Tiddlewink, Nigel, and Biddle will find his way back in this race too. All of those drivers will be on medium tyres to the end. So we could be in for a complete reshuffle here, and as well, potentially a change in leadership. Oh, Monkey Boy.
Under safety car. Oh, unlucky Kurt.
Oh dear.
Still got chance, but yeah.
Actually, look, it's 6 seconds
Revenge
in time penalties
Zilla.
for Monkey Boy Kurt. Nigel in the same
Oh,
boat
okay.
as him, and Biddle's on 3 seconds. And Fishix would be observant of the lot, saying Biddle's on softs. Tell you right now, he's not making it to the end. I respect the hustle, but
yeah, so do I. I reckon it'll be another pit stop because he changed his wing. So I reckon there's going to be a box for the Alpine driver, and onto the mediums he goes.
oh well. So another safety car, and I'm pretty sure we're going to go over the 1 hour mark for this race. So hold on, I've got a quick text message actually. So I'll be occupied by that for just a few moments.
No problem. As Shadow was claiming that he could have lost the lead there if he wasn't he was a couple of corners ahead, which yeah. But now everybody will have a full recharge of battery. Same on we're on lap 19, it'll be lap 20 once. Or is Bidley going for it? Oh no, Bidley's pushing to try and join the back of the queue, but I reckon he'll be boxing first.
I might need more than a few minutes, man. I just
Yeah, it's alright, no worries. No worries. I've got it. I'll just work out who you're on if you can keep flicking once it starts. But yeah, I'll have a look at the leaders. Sorry, gained places. My bad. Fastest lap is currently Phenom with a 41.1. 1 minute 41.1 that is, and then I'm trying to find it. Positions gained. Revenge Siller up 12. Snedden up 6. Groundsy up 2. Diamond up 2. Silverside Boy up 4. Jaff up 4. Jake up 8. Kale up 5. Tiddlewink up 6. And your biggest loser is Nigel down 10. And then Bidley 3 and Phenom 5. If anybody has anything in the chat, Hamilton to win tomorrow? I hope so, Nigel. I really do. Up the mark. I'm also happy as a McLaren fan that both McLarens made the Q3. As safety cars in this lap, Bidley will be unfortunately not catching up, which sucks. But yeah, we're going to get underway. It will be lap 20 of 31, as we have passed halfway of this race, finally.
right, we're back.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Just one of those text messages. Family matter. Anyway, show must go on in FPRL, and I think we're going to approach a pretty climactic end to what has been a bit of a slow burner to a race, to be fair. It now shadows legends, Maestro and Snedden, the wild card of the bunch. We start lap 20 of 31, 12 laps left to go. Here in Singapore, Shadows still holds the lead, and now he moves further back potentially. A look up the inside there for Drownsy against Diamond. Both of the AlphaTauris don't want to go at a civil war, to be honest, because that'll be disaster for them. Drownsy, a big snap out of turn 3. Silverside Boy looking to pounce, but he's got Revenge Zilla all over the back of them. And behind them is Jaftmaster on those fresh medium tyres. He's going to be one to watch at this restart as well, along with General Jake, who's now right behind Jaftmaster, draining that battery to keep up with the Alfa Romeo. Looking to the inside, he's going to break a little bit later, but Jaftmaster is aware to it and holds on to 9th place. And still, this midfield battle can go on until the very end. And I, for one, am all for it. As Nigel Pridle bantering away with Tiddlewink at the back of the pack. Tiddlewink around the outside of Nigel, shoves him the door, bumps him into the barrier, and that's not wind damage for Tiddlewink. That is incredible.
Yeah, I don't think that was on for Nigel, unfortunately, as much as he's tried to do it, yeah.
No move done though, albeit with a bit of an asterisk next to it, but we'll see what the stewards have to say in that. As Snedden getting his first victim in midfield. Maestro has been eliminated from the, I would say eliminated from the fray, but now Snedden is ahead of them on track and now back up to the podium places, up 7 places is the Williams driver, and an absolute stormer of a recovery, aided by that safety car, now up to 3rd, and is 1.2 seconds behind Legends, and on those tyres he can gain that in a matter of moments.
Yeah, Snedden is 110% one to watch at this moment. After making that move on Maestro, he's only a tenth slower than Shadows. So that just puts into context how quick the mediums are. He's catching the back of Legend as we speak. He is pushing the battery though. He needs to keep a bit because it will be hard to overtake. But Shadows is doing himself, well, he's doing Legends a favour, not a favour here. He needs to be really leaving him within a second so he gets the DRS. Yeah. But it's also hard because you've got a charging Williams on mediums coming behind you.
Absolutely. I think they two should be working together, to be honest. As text message,
Jake's got past Jack Master as well.
Oh, Jake janking left there. What happened there?
I don't know, but there's a yellow flag. Is that Bidley?
It's Biddle. Yeah, I think Biddle's just dropped back. I think race is over for Mr. Biddle. But Jake there, janking left. I wonder if he got spooked there by the barrier. Because around that part of the track, there is two parts of the barrier to the right hand side that do stick out, and if you do hit them, you will get damage. I wonder if that's what happened to Junivane as well. As Monkey Boy Kurt down the inside into what's turn 17 against Phenom, and now Jaffmaster's starting to back up the Haas here, and Monkey Boy Kurt all over the back of them down the underpass. It's just not quite close enough yet for one of the Alphas. But Jaffmaster doing a very solid job so far as DRS has been enabled, and this is going to be Snedden's opportunity. 25% ERS though plays 54% to Legends, but a quarter of a second difference between the Williams and the Haas. 1.7 seconds covering the top 3. Then 9 laps left to go. Legends will not get the DRS advantage, but Snedden is going to. He's going to use the full force of it. Legends using that battery to the best he can, but Snedden down the inside towards Raffles Boulevard towards turn 6, and he's got him. Snedden up to second, and now it's Shadows one-on-one with Snedden with 9 laps left to go. Shadows has had this race under control, but now both of those do get a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, this has been, for Shadows, this has been an easy, well, not an easy race, but he's dominated it. Arguably showing that he had the race pace as well, but yeah, like you say, Cruiser, Snedden, he's on a charge. The only thing for Shadows is he's got extra ERS deployment.
And I think he's going to have to use all of that.
Asks, do you catch on stream how Phenom spun me out lap 4? I don't think we did.
I'm not too sure, Michaelo. No, I don't think we did. I don't remember actually. It's been an incredibly long race. As we're following General Jade up in 9th place, as I think Colin mentioned too, being let go by Jaffmaster. I think Jaffmaster knows where the fight lies, and it's just going to be to see what unfolds in front. As General Jade now find well from Zandvoort, running up in 5th place. A collision in front gave them their 3rd podium in a row, and among a victory to boot with a couple of 3rd places, Jake has now found himself in a very healthy championship position. As what's happened to Jaffmaster?
I think I know what he's done.
That looks like a disconnect.
Do you want? Well, I shall, because I have a fan of tech like Jaff. If you press the DRS button and look back, it puts your wheel into PC mode. So I believe Mr. Flash has done that. From what I can gather.
That's unfortunate. If that is the case, he's been undone by the technology he's using.
That's what I've done it before, and I did it once in practice, and then I thought I'm never doing it again.
I think Jaffmaster's found out the hard way, to be fair, and I think that just sums him up, to be honest. He's always on the pace, but luck never seems to go his way. And I think that luck has struck once again. No matter how much luck he has, it's 0. And the gods say no to you, Jaffmaster. But still, 8 laps left to go. He can still claw something back as General Jake and Revenzilla are clawing onto 8th place here. Silverside Boy ahead of these two. Jake and Silverside Boy, they know what they two can do on track. Of course, they two are actually sharing a party with each other while we race, so they two know fine well what's going on and what their surroundings are. But now, something to watch here is that Drownsy is starting to get detached from Diamond. So I think Drownsy is going to be playing team player here towards the end, as on lap 24 of 31, 7 to go in Singapore, the gap up at the front, 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, big moves inbound. If Snedden wants to win this race, he's going to have to do something. He obviously got the left thingy, but Diamond Douchey, I know he's out on his own as...
oh, Phenom's gone.
Phenom's gone.
Yeah, he lost it at turn 3.
Which now I know sounds daft. As long as Jaffmaster can keep where he is, he doesn't technically lose anything due to them having penalties in front.
Yeah,
so,
that is actually a fair point. Both of them on 6 seconds.
Yeah. So he hasn't lost much at the minute. Because obviously he'd be stuck in a DRS train anyway. So I reckon he'll probably catch the back. But going back to Diamond Douchey, which I was, his battery usage is incredible at the minute. As just spunk. He's got 49% and he's just keeping groundsy within DRS, it looks like. To just help him along. Good team play from the AlphaTauris.
Sorry about that. I haven't picked up craft on the stream. I've reacted as quick as I could there. I'm terribly sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully that should be the last of it tonight. Still following Revengezilla. General Jake getting a bit deep down towards turn 14, and now Monkey Boy Kurt all over the back of the McLaren. And the gap's still up at the front, 0.7 of a second, as Biddles picked up the consolation prize of fastest lap down the back of the field. And still 0.7 of a second between Shadows and Snedden on lap 25 in Singapore, as Nigel taking a bit of an interesting line there around the final chicane to try and keep up with Monkey Boy Kurt. But now Jake, half a second behind Revengezilla, half a second behind Silverside Boy, and Drownsy's actually caught up again towards Diamond. So now both of the AlphaTauris hiding this train, like what Nigel Piddle done earlier on in this race, and now Nigel finds himself at the back of this train and has to get a move on if he wants to get any points here, because as you mentioned, Colin, Jaffmaster has caught right back up to this train as Biddles went deep into the escape road at turn 7. And I think either that's just to let everyone through, as that's the softest, hardest hit of a front wing I've ever seen.
Oh, I hope he
gets Nigel's gone.
What's happened to Pigo?
Nigel's coasting. I wonder what's happened there. Is now Jake making a move on Revengezilla, almost got sidetracked there, and General Jake picks off his man and is up into 8th place. But Nigel Piddle, what is going on at the Alpine camp?
I don't know. That's interesting.
He's lost a bit of his front wing, but surely that's not it.
Has he been? Yeah, is he maybe calling it a day?
As well, Monkey Boy Kurt not wasting any time with Jaffmaster, he lets him through, and now Jaffmaster can be unleashed to challenge for positions up ahead. And speaking of up ahead, it's half a second between Shadows and Snedden, and now this is the point where the tires will start to fall, as Groundsy's made a mistake at the underpass. He's spun it in the tunnel.
Wow. That's just got interesting.
And now look who's side by side on track here, Colin. Silverside Boy and General Jake. I think
Jake's going to get an easy pass here, but yeah.
We did see in Belgium that Silverside Boy did let Jake through, and that was for the victory that day. But something tells me Silverside Boy won't want history to repeat itself. He's in a fight for this as hard as he can. But down Raffles Boulevard, Jake, having 40% battery at one point, now down to 30%, Silverside Boy actually has 1%. So Silverside Boy running on fumes towards the end of this race. He's got 5 laps left to go at the end of this lap. It's Jake and Silverside Boy having a feud for 6th. It's Jaffmaster down the inside of Phenom in towards turn 7 and turn 8. Now round the outside, Jaffmaster, he backs off to avoid the barrier. Phenom shut the door on him there very aggressively. You are not coming into my parlour, said Phenom. And Jaffmaster now down in 10th, but now both of these two right behind Revengezilla, who's got to be nursing some problem as well. As Phenom down the inside at the hairpin, that's a rare overtake, and that's why it's rare. Oh no, that's why it's rare.
Oh, poor Revengezilla. Oh, he's had such a good race up until then, but they got tangled, and this Codemasters contact model is just disgusting, isn't it? Yeah. Let's be realistic. Yeah, I'm sorry to be brutal.
Well, so much for not letting history repeat itself, as Biddle has retired on track, and that's at turn 7. I don't think it's going to be a safety car though, because he's so far behind the field. Tiddlewink retiring in the pits as well, but I think Silverside Boy did let Jake through. He knows where his fight lies and is actually thinking maybe to recharge his battery and go again. That could be something to offer for the end, as now on lap 27 it's Shadows still leading Snedden, but that gap is 0.3 of a second, still 0.2 of a second. Just not close enough though with Snedden, and that battery is just not enough for him to mount that challenge. Shadows holding on for his life as Snedden hits the wall! Snedden hits the wall. Is that wind damage? I don't think it is from the helicopter camera, as we'll see. No, it's not. Snedden just got away with it there.
Going back to Nigel, I think I've worked something out after TS9's put in the chat. Monkey had no end plate. So I'm assuming that him and Kurt have come together. That'd be my assumption. Onto that one. But as we go along, Diamond Douchey is snuck up to the back of midfield Maestro for this P4. And he's got a little bit more battery usage. The AlphaTauri.
To be fair to Maestro, it's been probably one of the best lonely races I've actually seen. He's had very little to do this evening. Apart from a couple of safety car restarts, he's now found himself in 4th. And Diamond starting to enter the fray in this race, but Maestro 9 seconds behind Legends, almost the same gap he was before the first safety car this evening. But Maestro, just run your own pace and you will hold your own. But now look at the gap up at the front, 1.6 seconds between Shadows and Snedden, and I think those medium tyres have seen better days and their best life is now past them. Legends now starting to hunt them down. Is midfield Maestro? No!
Is that technical curse?
I said it was a lonely race. I didn't say he's been driving a good race. Oh, albeit given he's running up in 4th, so I'd say it's a good day at the office. Now Diamond,
and that means
not.
Yes.
Nah, I think that's yeah. Maestro's let him through. I think he knows where his fate lies. His fight's now with Jake. He's now 2 seconds
and
behind.
Yeah, Jake's gonna get a top 5.
Don't know how. Don't know how he's managed that.
Oh, yellow flag.
That's Nigel. Just think it went into the wall again. I say it again. And as well, this fight for second now. Yeah, Legends. He let Snedden go earlier on, and now Snedden very much having the better of the tyres. Oh, Snedden did have the better of the tyres, and now it's Legends' turn to have the advantage.
Oh, have you seen what David's put?
Yeah, fair.
Also, Fishsticks was right with saying the hards will be quicker than the mediums.
Yeah, I think that's pretty evident now, but what's surprising is Jake's actually catching up towards Maestro and is dropping Silverside Boy.
And Silverside Boy is also getting caught by Jaff. Rather rapid. So I wonder if we'll see a P7 battle between these two.
I think regardless though, for Silverside Boy to go from 11th to 7th, it's not a bad night's work to be honest, but if you're Jake, from 18th to 6th, I think that just shows as well how fortunate you can be in these races. Right place at the right time for the McLaren driver, and he's picking that up as well. And with the mistake happening to Drownsy, so far Jake is going to make up ground in the championship. He wants to make up a few more points here with using the ERS, using a DRS around the outside of midfield Maestro in towards turn 6. Jake hard on the brakes, too late on the brakes, goes deep. Midfield Maestro scoots up the inside. Thank you very much, I'll have the place back. But now Jake has a bit of a collision, just keeps it under control though. But Midfield Maestro, he did defend well there. But Jake, a bit too eager to get the overtake done there, and has completely drained his battery.
Yes, I would agree. He went off track anyway, so in my opinion, he should have let the place go. Because he gained an advantage by going off track. So yeah, I think this being the right way around now is fair. And Jake needs to overtake and not be extremely late on the brakes and go off track like he did. Gary's washed. Oh, come on, fish sticks.
He's actually catching up.
You know what? I respect Gary. He's done well today. Considering his pace, he was saying to me, I'm going to really struggle. I'm like 1.1 seconds off Jake a lap. And now you should see him 2.1 seconds back.
He's actually on for P6 here with Maestro's penalty. So if Jake can keep fighting with Maestro, he might lose out even more because Draftmaster isn't too far behind either.
Maestro, I don't know what you do. Do you let it? It's a bit of a tricky one for Maestro. His race is unfortunately untangled in the last few laps of the 3 second.
Just looking there, Legends couldn't quite get the move done on Sneddon. And here goes Jake. Now this time around the outside, he's not braking a little bit sooner in towards turn 6, and he locks up, but he gets the move done. Now Jake up to 5th, and he's now finally got some clear air, but I think it's too little too late for the McLaren to chase down Diamond. But it's now about if Draftmaster can keep within the 3 seconds of Midfield Maestro, as Revengezilla took the consolation prize from Mr. Biddle. A fastest lap of a 39.2. The equivalent of Liverpool winning 7-0 of Man United.
Oh, David will love that one.
To be fair, we've all been having digs at each other, to be fair, so might as well.
Cruiser is now sacked from his new role.
Well, David did answer the earlier question for me, saying it was a mistake. I took it, so take from that what you will. Justine. Sorry, David.
Yeah. Oh, don't apologise. It's only truth. As Groundsy and Phenom are battling, I don't know if we've seen this, but they're very close. What a shame for Groundsy. It was going well for him, wasn't it? P6. And then that spin. We have a yellow flag, which is Zilla. Streams over, that's it.
Just following his battle here for second place. Legends throwing everything at it. Into the final lap of this race. Strados has checked out 6 seconds clear of everyone. And Sneddon's still holding on to what will be a very unlikely second place here, must be said, from qualifying. Meanwhile, Silverside Boy is catching up to the back of Midfield Maestro, who has completely been detached from General Jake. And still more yellow flags. I think Revengezilla's might be actually charging his battery again for one more push lap to try and set another fastest lap. Who knows? But in all honesty, down in 12th, it was a good recovery to an extent for Revengezilla, and as well for Draftmaster. That earlier contact with Python has seen himself up in the points, and now Drownsy and Phenom still having their battle, but we'll let them roll on as Shadows look at that. I'm not sure if you want to call that cockiness. There's Nigel. Not sure if you want to call that cockiness from Shadows, weaving already, getting the celebrations at the ready, down to the final few corners. I think new enough, inevitable from qualifying, invincible for Shadows. The fireworks light up the sky at Marina Bay, and they light up in victory. The spotlights on Shadows as they win in Singapore, and it by quite some margin indeed. Sneddon picks up second place, albeit from 10th, a fantastic achievement for the Williams driver. Legends picks up 3rd, Diamond a distant 4th, Jake picks up 5th, Silverside Boy takes 6th, and a great drive from him and the Williams team recovering from qualifying. Draftmaster picks up a good 7th place and some more points for Alfa Romeo. Midfield Maestro falls to 8th after that penalty. Groundsy just holds off Phenom for 10th. Monkey Boy Turtle picked up P11. Revengezilla and Nigel Piddle a lap down, but Revengezilla with the fastest lap under his belt, and Shadows 25 points into his belt in the championship battle that's going to go down to the wire.
Maestro got damaged like 25. I see now, it makes sense. And Nigel took the fastest lap. And Shadow's car interview. Well, my co-coms driver of the day, I thought about this. And I'm going to give a special mention to General Jake as a mention. I think he's drove brilliantly, and so is Jaff, and so is Silverside Boy. But my co-coms driver of the day is the man that's won today. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. He's took pole, he's led every lap, I believe, as well. So yeah, Shadows is the driver of the day.
Absolutely. Oh, Nigel did take the fastest lap away. There you go. Stole it right at the end. And there you have it. Fastest lap for Nigel Piddle, but the fastest man today is Shadows, and I'm sure he'll give a few words in a Twitch chat. Of course, all races are streamed on twitch.tv/FP Racing League. I suppose a good time as any to let you guys know that's where you'll find us out. And actually, I think we could have actually hit a milestone tonight. We could potentially be on 500 followers on our Twitch channel. We have surpassed that. We are on 502 followers. The milestone has been hit tonight. Let's go. We are massive.
I've invited second and third. There we go.
There we go. So Snydon's just joined us there, and Shadows has said up the front. What was that? Up the FP Racing League. We are huge. Yes. And that, I think, has really hyped up the mood for interviews, which is usually a bit more of a chilled session, to be fair.
So, Cruiser.
Yes.
Legends has just messaged me, no mic.
Well.
So, would you like to pick somebody, and I'll pick somebody to come in, and then we'll get free? Or would you just happy to do Snedden? I'll let you make the call.
I think we'll leave it to the one tonight, just because we've actually went by the 2-hour mark, so we don't want to waste too much time. Nothing against everyone else, but Singapore is typically a very, very long race. Hitting nearly an hour tonight, as we'll actually get the Alpine up on stream for Nigel Piddle's fastest lap. Totally because I didn't not get the Williams up on stream. There we go. Anyway, C. Davies, I'll hand over to you for Steina's interview.
Well, Snedden, firstly, in qualifying, you looked like you was going to be the man to beat in the wet weather conditions, and then Q3 didn't go your way. Can you explain what happened?
Well, yeah, I still don't really know. Q1 and Q2 felt pretty decent. Just on the one set of tyres, and then Q3 I just binned it on the outlap, so not ideal. But yeah, no, I came back to second, so not too bad.
Yeah, obviously in the race, I believe you started on the mediums, and then you was in some contact, I'm assuming, because you had to change front wing and go to the hards. Was that a good decision in the end, because you was able to go along into the race?
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah, picked up damage like turn 3, and then pitted for the hards, aiming to go long for the mediums at the end. Got a bit lucky with the safety car. And then yeah, didn't manage to get shadows. I think I hit my wing on lap 28, I think, so not ideal. But yeah, if you look at the bigger picture, second's not too bad from 10th, so pretty happy.
No, yeah, it's a very good result around Singapore where you can't really overtake. So yeah, obviously your teammate let you by. Was that planned, or do you have something in with him to do that?
I mean, I didn't ask him to, but yeah, he's just being a gentleman and letting me pass, because I think I had a I had lots of pace to use, but you can't really overtake, so couldn't really use it to my advantage.
And then the final question from me: Japan's next week. Do you like it? Are you a fan? Are you looking forward to it, or are you the opposite?
Wait, sorry, can you say that again, please?
Yeah, no problem. I said Japan's next week. I said, are you a fan, or do you like it, or are you not looking forward to it? Are you confident, etc.?
Oh yeah, Japan. Sector 1 will be a struggle for, well, quite a few people. Yeah, hopefully I can have a good race, like today, and hopefully qualifying can go a little better.
From that comment, that means you're on pad by saying Sector 1. I'm assuming.
Wait, what was that again?
I said, from you saying Sector 1, I said, I'm assuming you're a pad driver from that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think
Yeah.
full traction might be a bit OP there as well, so
Oh,
not too good either.
well, from me, it's a congratulations on your P2. Solid drive. And I'll hand it over to Cruiser to see if he wants to say anything to you.
Nothing really, just obviously I'll echo the congratulations, Snedden, and a great recovery from qualifying. And also, before we do end off the stream, we've got a quick word from Shadows, courtesy of the Twitch chat, saying, incredible race from me, and don't blame him to be honest, it was one of the single most dominant drives I've actually seen commentate on since last night with AMS Drive. Saying, I didn't think I had the pace like that. Final stint after the safety car was sketchy as Snedden was all over me. I knew his tyres would eventually drop off, so I managed to hold him back. Overall, GG's and on to Japan. And that's where the Tier 2s will be heading off next Friday, 8 PM UK time, to round out the main week of racing. Tier 4 drivers will have their shot at Marina Bay on Sunday, the same time, 8 PM UK time, before the band head off to Suzuka, and I would argue one of the best tracks in the world, to be honest. Suzuka, Japan. That though is going to round out from tonight's FPRL Tier 2 stream, and a big thank you to C Davies again for joining me in the commentary box.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Cruiser.
Thank you for joining, and to all of our viewers as well. Big thank you for tuning in this tonight, and from all of us at FPRL, a massive thank you for 500 Twitch followers. We are on the up. Next stop, 750, and then from there we're hitting 4 digits. That though is going to be it from me, Cruiser 1872. Thank you very much for watching, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night.